Wait. What? Hey you beautiful buccaneers, Falcore here. So season 17 hasn't exactly made a splash. I mean, let's be completely honest, in fact it's been more of a belly flop. And as with every Sea of Thieves update, there's always a handful of familiar voices airing their complaints. Most of it just the usual noise, the same critics playing the same tune, but this time, it's not just the vocal minority. There's a growing consensus that season 17 isn't just underwhelming, it might actually be the worst season the game has ever seen. And yet, here I am, still playing, still caring, still loving this game, even if it is frustrating as hell right now, because at the end of the day, Sea of Thieves is undeniably one of the most unique and groundbreaking online games out there. There is still nothing else like Sea of Thieves. No other game captures the same sense of adventure, chaos, teamwork, and emergent storytelling. It's a game that, when it's at its best, is unmatched, and I believe that's why so many of us are so disappointed, because we know what this game is capable of. We've seen it at its best. But right now, for whatever reason, they're clearly going through a rough patch, maybe the roughest one yet. But I still hold on to hope that they'll steer the ship back on course. That said, despite the almost comical lack of content in Season 17, there is something very intriguing quietly hiding beneath the surface, something that might just be waiting to explode, clickbait style, and shake things up. For that, I'll refer you to a segment in the most recent podcast.
There's a little bit of, I guess, kind of a mystery there with the introduction of the Smugglers League as to who their client actually is, and that's something that players can unravel somewhat throughout the season, but I don't want to say too much.
No, I think it's fair not to say too much. And just, again, pulling back to the NDA lift, we're not going to put absolutely everything through the insider program process, because I think we still want a little bit of an ability to surprise our players, right?
Yes.
And we won't say any more on that. You'll be surprised.
These smugglers came to the Sea of Thieves after escaping the Grand Maritime Union in the outside world. Think of them like the tax department. As they were fleeing from the Grand Maritime Union, they saw the Shroud Fogbank on the horizon, had heard the stories, and sailed into the Sea of Thieves in an attempt to evade the GMU. The result? All their ships were lost to the sea, and now we're here to pick up the pieces and help re-establish them. Keep in mind that although it's not specifically stated, it's very possible that they all perished, but thanks to the supernatural soup that is the Sea of Thieves, they were able to rise again and make their way to safety, digging out their cute little hideouts all over the map. During their frantic entry into the Sea of Thieves, the smugglers managed to find a willing client eager to take on all of their goods and set up shop in this lawless haven. However, the identity of this client remains a mystery, given the possibility that the smugglers may have briefly crossed paths with the Sea of the Damned upon their arrival. There's a whole array of theories about who this client could be. So let's run through some of the possible lists of people or groups who might be behind this mysterious arrangement and what their true intentions could be. First off, let's rule out Flameheart, or the Reapers. It's pretty clear that he's not the one behind this. We can tell this because of the phantoms that keep spawning during the smuggler quests. These aren't the usual nighttime phantoms, but the Spanish fortress phantoms, who are loyal to Flameheart. If Flameheart was the client, we just see generic phantoms. Sure, Flameheart might be after the loot, but he's not calling the shots here. So yeah, Flameheart is definitely not the client. Now let's talk about the most likely suspect, the Dark Brethren. Honestly, they're probably the right answer, but I'm kind of hoping they aren't. It feels a bit too obvious. Still, they have the motive and the means. The Dark Brethren would love to get their hands on contraband, to rebuild their influence in the Sea of Thieves, and use as pirates as their little money laundering operation. On top of that, have you ever noticed how paintings in Sea of Thieves are often used to trap spirits? A lot of these paintings feature key lore characters: the Gold Hoarder, Madame Olivia, the Siren Queen, the Burning Blade, and the pig. It's possible that these items are somehow tied to trapping spirits, unleashing chaos across the seas. This lines up with the idea of the Captain, the most legendary skeleton lord we've yet to see, thanks to Mike Chapman's refusal to spill the beans for 7.5 years. The Captain, who is the leader of the Dark Brethren, would likely want to overthrow all the trading companies and threats before claiming his rule. So the Dark Brethren are 100% the prime suspects here, especially considering in the final month of Season 17, the Dark Brethren are showing up to tackle the new Reaper forts in search to plunder its loot. It makes the most sense, but it's a little lackluster as a reveal. But then there are other possibilities. Anyone remember the Gold Hoarder mystery? All we got for a lore reveal on that subject was a weird Adobe AI-filled image on Twitter, telling us that Hogarth had taken his place as the leader of the Gold Hoarder, and then nothing ever happened after that. Hogarth could also be involved here, though there's not much solid evidence to back that up. Still, imagine a storyline, or even a new quest focused on him. It would be awesome to finally return to the shores of gold and do some renovating with a new black powder barrels, for example. It's very unlikely to be Hogarth. Just wishful thinking on this theory, as I just think it would be cool to have something more than a PNG to finish off his storyline. But hey, at least his storyline had a beginning, a middle, and an end. Oh, hi Briggsy. Hey Rare. Do you remember Briggsy? Do you remember what? Are we gonna get any? No? Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. But there's one more candidate that hasn't really been talked about. One that's almost been forgotten in all of the chaos. Does anyone remember Pendragon? The hero who was cast aside by the community, sent to the Sea of the Damned to make way for Flameheart's rise. It's easy to forget about him when so much else has been going on. But imagine just how betrayed and abandoned he must feel. He was one of the last standing against Flameheart, and then bam! Sent to the Sea of the Damned realm to rot, while the rest of the world moves on without him. Now we know that the smugglers are making a point of gathering up every painting they can find. Just in month 2, we're heading to a new Flameheart fortress where we're tasked with a heist to steal yet another painting. It's almost as if the smugglers have been given a very specific mission to track down every painting that they can find. But why is that important? Why would anyone care about a painting being contraband, especially in the Sea of Thieves, where anything goes? I get why a black powder keg might be a bit of a big deal, high risk, high reward, but a simple painting? That doesn't seem like something pirates would fight over. I mean, think about it. We've got the freedom to rip the teeth out of sharks, slaughter entire species, and sell their body parts, but somehow a painting is considered contraband? It doesn't make sense. So it's likely that these paintings aren't just random loot left behind in a pursuit of bigger treasures. They must be part of something far more important. And here's where it gets interesting. Remember how I suggested that the smugglers might have ventured into the Sea of the Damned, perhaps even a few times? Well, the Sea of the Damned is no ordinary place. It's a realm full of lost souls and long-forgotten secrets. And where is Pendragon right now? Banished, stuck in that realm, unable to return to the Sea of Thieves. The reason? Well, he's been trapped there because the Reapers have his enchanted painting, the very painting that's keeping him from returning. It's likely that Pendragon, ever the strategist, is using the smugglers as pawns in a much bigger game. He's probably behind the whole operation, sending them to scour the Sea of Thieves to recover his painting from the clutches of the Reapers. This is why the client is now sending them to a Flameheart fortress to heist a unique painting. Perhaps he believes that this is his painting in that fortress. Now I know from a mechanical perspective this just seems simple, right? Just sail over to Reaper's hideout and nab it. We all know it's there, but this is the problem with storytelling in an online service game. Although the picture is just sat there and looks free for the picking, from a story perspective, Reaper's hideout is filled with patrolling guards, and the painting's location is only known to an elite few. But keep that in mind with many storytelling aspects in Sea of Thieves. I mean, we could just finish the Tall Tales in one mission if we said to the Pirate Lord, "Hey dude, I know where the Shores of Gold is, it's marked on the map." But think about it, if Pendragon could get that painting back, it would break the magic that keeps him in the Sea of the Damned. The Reapers would lose their grip on him, and he'd finally be free to return to the Sea of Thieves. so it's entirely possible that Pendragon is the one pulling the strings behind the smugglers' operation, manipulating them to secure his freedom. It all fits. The smugglers are getting their hands on more paintings that we can count, and in doing so, they're unwittingly gathering the key to Pendragon's release. And what would Pendragon do once he's free? Revenge, power, a second chance to restore the balance in the Sea of Thieves and undo the wrongs that have been done to him. And he might just be plotting something far more ambitious that we can imagine, maybe even an alliance with the Dark Brethren. The possibilities are endless, but one thing's for sure, Pendragon's return would shake the very foundations of Sea of Thieves, especially if it was done this way. But with how the storytelling's been going recently, it's probably the Siren Queen. Again, for no reason. Yay. Subscribe for Mustache Love.